que ahora voy a pasar a presentar. Tuvimos juegos, hubo de todo. Espero que el primer grupo haya podido aprovechar todas las charlas de las sesiones, todo el contacto con universidades, así como lo va a hacer también el segundo grupo dentro de muy poquito. Yo estoy estirando, se habrán dado cuenta que estoy estirando un poco, porque hay que esperar un segundito a que empecemos a presentar a los speakers internacionales, que son dos, y que nos van a contar unas historias espectaculares de superación, de resiliencia. ¿Ya puedo presentarlos entonces? Voy a arrancar entonces con el primer speaker internacional. Y cuando digo internacional, es porque nos visita de fuera del Ecuador, obviamente. Y es importante esto que les voy a decir, y se los voy a repetir varias veces para que lo tengan en cuenta y no se olviden. La charla va a ser in English, así que los que quieran escuchar en inglés se quedan aquí. Los que quieran escucharla con traducción simultánea en español, van a ver en el chat que les vamos a poner un link a una sesión de Zoom donde va a haber una traducción simultánea, y luego de que termine la charla van a poder volver a Hopin, no la charla per se, sino todo el espacio de preguntas y respuestas, porque la segunda charla de nuestros speakers internacionales sí va a ser en español. Bueno, sin mucho más preámbulo, les quiero preguntar si alguno de ustedes se acuerda de lo que estaba haciendo a los 9 años. Yo definitivamente no, porque ya fue hace mucho tiempo, no me acuerdo, pero estoy casi seguro de que ninguna de ustedes estaba haciendo lo mismo que nuestro primer speaker, que nació en Memphis, en Tennessee, en los Estados Unidos, y desde muy chico, desde muy pequeño, creó su propia empresa. Me hace acordar a mí mismo en muchas formas, no solo por el tema de ser emprendedor, que yo también soy emprendedor, sino más que nada porque compartimos el glamour, los looks, el estilo. Se habrán dado cuenta por mi corbatín, que estoy muy elegante, me vestí de gala para presentarlo a él, así que me hace acordar un poquito a mí. Y sobre todo porque su empresa, Moziah Bridges, fabrica y vende corbatines hechos a mano y es un éxito espectacular con más de $600,000 facturados. A los 13 años fue reconocido por la revista Time como uno de los 30 adolescentes más influyentes. También tuvo la oportunidad de conocer al expresidente Barack Obama, que lo invitó a la Casa Blanca. Y si esto que les cuento les parece poco, también les recuerdo o les cuento que firmó un contrato con la NBA para usar los logos de los equipos en sus corbatines. Así que la charla va a ser en inglés, ya se los dije, recuérdenlo. Van a tener el link al Zoom para la traducción simultánea, y cuando terminemos con la sesión de preguntas y respuestas van a poder volver a Hopin. Para cuando termine la charla, vayan dejando las preguntas por el chat, que me las van a mandar a mí y yo se las voy a realizar a él, ¿ok? Dicho esto, y les voy a recordar, por si no me escucharon, porque dije muchas cosas y en las preguntas del Kahoot algunos hicieron agua completamente, así que una vez más les recuerdo el tema del link para ir al Zoom con la traducción simultánea. Hoy viene a inspirarnos con su historia desde Estados Unidos y quiero que le demos un fuertísimo aplauso virtual a Moziah Bridges. Hi, Mo. I think you're mute.
Hello.
There you go. You're live, man.
How are you? How are you today?
I'm great. Look, I dressed up for you.
Yes, I love the bow tie.
It's Hernan's bows.
Yes.
Okay, so off you go. The stage is all yours.
Okay. This is how to balance a bow tie. If I ask you how to picture a 4-year-old me hanging out on the playground, climbing on the monkey bars, sliding down the slide, and seeing just how high I could get my swing into the sky, what did you guys think that I would be wearing? If I said a pair of shorts and sneakers, you'd be right. But if you added a collared shirt and bow tie, you'd be right on. Yes, I was that kid. the one that had a mind and style of their own and saw no reason why I shouldn't be able to freely express my creativity. But luckily for me, I happened to have a mother that agreed. I have lived a long 18 years. Yes, long. But for 10 of those years, I have been an entrepreneur. Many of you know how long 10 years of entrepreneurship can feel because we can fit a lot of life into our years. We are filled with a passion to express all that we are by funneling it into a business. And to get there, we play many roles. We spend lots of time working and we are constantly perfecting and exploring. Being an entrepreneur is who we are. It's a part of our DNA. We set our vision and we dive into motion. We don't stop. We go and go and go. We tend to be rather extreme, but the secret sauce for success, however, is to find that balance. So, for example, you might see me on Google or you'll see many videos and interviews starring me. That seems glamorous, right? But there's also lots of non glamorous work. The behind the scenes work that involves the sewing, the packaging, and all of those things. As an entrepreneur, I had to find that balance between the being on stage me in front of a camera or audience with the get things done and make bow ties me so that I had enough product to send out to my customers. And now, if you own a business, you know that hard work is never done. It took me, my mom, my grandmother, not only them, but my sister and other family members to make this business run well. Yep, we have all of those other members in my family to help keep balance. For my mom and I specifically, we had to learn how to strike a balance between me being her child and her being my mother, and also us being in business together. That balance was often challenged, and it was challenged by others who made assumptions that my mom was using me to further her business agenda. She was at times considered a momager, a mom manager. Some assumed that I was just the spokesperson, nothing more than the mascot for my business, and that I didn't actually participate in the company. But let me tell you, that was all false. My mom took a leap of faith to make Mo's Bows her full-time career. But I would say actually more than a full-time career. She chose to fully support me and make my vision a reality. And I, in turn, traded in some of my childhood play to run and grow a company. Now, before you go crying child labor, realize that my mom always allowed me to be a child. I went to different parties, I went to sleepovers, and I spent plenty of time playing on that playground, looking quite dashing, might I add. There were many times where my eye left my mom to sew more bow ties than perhaps she had thought she signed up for so that I could go off and be a child. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't all fun and games for me. I had made a commitment to running and growing a business that I had founded. I was dedicated to seeing its success. So yes, I did have to forego some fun to get things done. And yes, there were times that my mom had to basically, in a way that moms do, she had to ground me in order that I stay put and do my part. But all of that hard work did pay off. During these past few years, my mom and I have had some amazing experiences. In 2014, We were invited to apply to be on the very popular TV show Shark Tank. I was 12 years old at the time and eager to please the sharks. I had felt confident and made up in my mind that I would be walking away with a deal and partnership with Damon John, who is known for striking deals with big fashion brands. After months and months of rehearsing our pitch to the producers, we finally headed to sunny California. We finally headed to sunny California to face the sharks. I was cool, calm, and collected at the time with my yellow and white chevron bow tie. I walked out with my mom to deliver our pitch, and later she would share with me that I was so nervous that I squeezed her hand way too tight. We landed on our mark on set, and I flashed my big white smile. I paused there and I began my pitch. It was going perfectly. I spoke, then my mom spoke, then I was up to speak again. But for some reason, out of nowhere, I completely forgot the rest of my pitch. But that didn't stop me. I continued talking, going totally off script. And I was able to because it was my life and it was my story that I was sharing. And I also had my mom right by my side. I made it through it smoothly. And to this day, no one, not even the sharks, knew that I forgot my pitch. A year later, in 2015, I was hired as an ESPN fashion correspondent for the 2015 NBA Draft and Media Day held at the Barclays Center in New York City. I was asked to interview and have some fun with the top 10 draftees. I asked them different questions about their fashion style, and we tried on oversized sunglasses, mustaches, and funny hats. I gifted a couple of bow ties to each draftee, and I asked them to tie the bow tie, thinking that it wasn't a problem. Of course, none of the players could tie them. But it was funny seeing little old me tying some bow ties on some very tall, soon-to-be NBA basketball players. One of the players, though, Willie Cauley-Stein, who goes by Trill now, was being drafted by the Sacramento Kings. He challenged me to tie the bow tie, and he said, if you can tie this bow tie, then I'll wear it on stage when I get drafted. I said, challenge accepted. Of course, I tied a perfect bow tie, and it was an honor to see him wear it on one of the biggest days of his career. Working with ESPN later led to an amazing partnership with the NBA, where Mo's Bows made custom bow ties and neckties with all 30 teams. This gave me the opportunity to not only mix fashion and basketball, but I was able to tap into a very large sports market. Now, about this bow tie tying thing, as I mentioned, none of the NBA players I hung out with were able to tie a bow tie. And it may be surprising, but it certainly is to me. But actually, according to the Bow Tie Aficionado website, apparently only 1% of men know how to tie a bow tie. But we're going to up that percentage right here, right now, because I'm going to teach you how to tie the perfect bow tie. Okay, so the first step, it's pretty simple. I like to say that tying a bow tie is simply just like tying a shoestring. So first, I like to, get it on my neck, tie it, make it tight. And then I like to get a half of a bow on the right. And then I get my index finger, get my thumb, pinch it in the middle, and then you get your left piece. And then you make it, put it through that loop, and then you have your bow tie. It's that simple. So It's pretty simple how to learn how to tie a bow tie. You know, you just have to have some patience and skill, I guess. So after that, you just pretty much adjust and then make it you. Okay. Let me get it together. Okay. Never would I have imagined that bow ties would take me to the NBA. But even more astonishing, ended up taking me to the White House. That same year, I was invited to the White House inaugural demo day. This was on August 4th, 2015, the same day President Obama will be celebrating his 55th birthday. He's a Leo, in case you were wondering. There, I showcase my business and products alongside other small business owners. But I'll be honest, I remember feeling a bit disappointed, thinking, geez, I'm really not going to be able to meet President Barack Obama. I was so hoping he would enter the room where we were all showing off our wares. At one point, the staff asked if all of the entrepreneurs could gather in one of the press conference rooms where President Obama was to deliver a message to us. Once he finished speaking, everyone began singing happy birthday to him. After the song, we watched as he exited the stage, and out of nowhere, one of his assistants tapped my mom on the shoulder and said, "Can I borrow Mo really quick? The president wants to meet him." My mom said, "Sure." I just want to thank my mom right now and just tell her, "Good job, mom." The assistant took me back to where my business was on display, and there he was. He was standing right next to my table. He said, "There you are, Mo," as if he was already waiting on me. At that moment, I was in complete shock. He told me that he liked my table, and I said, "Thank you." And I also gave him a bow tie that I had already named the Obama Blue. Now, blue may be my third most popular of the bow tie, but as far as I'm concerned, on that day, blue had quickly climbed to number one. On the tie I represented, or on the tie that I presented to the president, there was a note that attached that read, "Happy birthday, President Barack Obama." But I had written that note earlier in the day, not even expecting to give it to the president. I was asking all around, hoping to find someone to give it to the president, not even imagining that I would be the one to meet him and take several pictures with him. He shook my hand and he told me to always keep going with my business and to never give up on my dreams. And as you can see now, I haven't given up on any dream. And so, to all of you entrepreneurs out there, are you living your dreams? I sincerely believe you can. But I also believe that living those dreams requires a bit of balance. So, here's what I wish to leave you with today. I talked about balancing relationships with balancing your non-glamorous work with your glamorous work, and how all of that can lead you to having memorable life experiences. You may not be able to relate to being a part of a business or being a part of a bow tie company, or even making child entrepreneurship the cornerstone of your business existence. But let me offer you this perspective. What you can relate to is that you were once a child. I invite you to go back there. Your childhood ways can play a big role in your business, is what I've realized. Because the child within us sees things from a completely different and eyes wide open point of view. The child in us doesn't realize how hard something is going to be to achieve. Our inner child does not place barriers between our dreams and how we feel. We don't place concerns on time or money or what others will think of me. We don't wallow in doubts about our ability to swim with the sharks or hang out with basketball heroes or even bring birthday gifts to a favorite president. Then I would like you to balance that childlike way with being an adult. You have to, because obviously it would take your business backwards if you leave in the middle of a meeting to play whatever new Pokemon has hit the scene or throw a tantrum when things don't go the way we want them to go. Although rumor has it that there are some adult business owners and leaders out there that do behave in this manner. Finding a balance between the adult you, the one that makes sure the books are balanced and then the meetings are attended on time. But then also make sure that the business is getting done. And also the child you, the one that allows for a time to dream, to make barriers invisible, and to play on bigger and better playgrounds. That just may be the balance that you need. My name is Moziah Bridges. My company is Mo's Bows, and I am now an 18-year-old man about to be 19, November 13th, balancing a bow tie between a childhood and adulthood. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mo. Fantastic.
Guys.
I'm 40 years old. I'm about to turn 41 November 16, and I have absolutely no idea on how to tie my bow tie. It has a little device here.
Well, at least we're both
makes it easy.
We're both Scorpios.
So thank you very much for sharing your story. It was really, really inspiring. I have a few questions for you. What's a typical day for you now versus what it was when you started 9 years ago?
Yes, well, the typical day for me versus when I started 9 years ago was I really don't have to get up early in the morning for school anymore, which is, an awesome thing. And I also feel like I can make my own schedule now, which is crazy, because now that I am just graduating high school, I'm taking a gap year and focusing more on my company, and really just switching the whole brand around, adding new products. And I also opened a storefront here in my city. So that's really one of the main things that I've been focusing on. So it's pretty much just getting up, taking care of orders, shipping orders, and then going to the store and handling with customers, selling masks and bow ties and throwing different events here.
Because you're a full-time entrepreneur.
Yes, full-time entrepreneur, which feels great. And I could be honest with you, it really doesn't feel like I'm a full-time entrepreneur just because I've been doing it for 10 years. It feels like, so it's kind of like, it's pretty much the normal. So I don't know. When you really get into it, you really get the groove of it and you really don't think of it as a job. So it's pretty much, you're just working for yourself.
And playing a little bit.
Yes, playing and having fun. You have to make sure whatever you do in life, no matter if it's, working for someone else or being an entrepreneur yourself, you have to make sure that you're happy in what you do and that you're content and that you can succeed with doing that.
Excellent. You talked about your mom, but besides your mom, who has had the most influence on your entrepreneurial path and why? Do you have any mentors?
Yes, I do have lots of mentors. I had different mentors from Damon John to different mentors that are like from my librarian or from the lady that I always see at the community center. You know, I have just different mentors that I see pretty much on a daily basis. But Damon John specifically, he's giving me different tools and things that I could use, like to stay true to my company. And he always tells me, of course, to take care of my mom because she's one of the most important people ever.
For those that don't know, Damon John is one of the sharks in the TV show Shark Tank.
Yes, David is very wise, and he kind of sees me in himself because his grandmother also taught him how to sew as well.
Nice, nice. I have, before we start with the questions from the audience, I have several questions for you. We can go on talking for many minutes.
Yeah.
What are the three main things that you have learned as a kidpreneur or a teenpreneur?
The three main things that I have learned as a kidpreneur, I would say to always be open to advice, to always also be willing to learn, and to always be active in doing things, because I find when I can get pretty lazy. I can get pretty lazy sometimes. So I feel like to always be involved in something, to always be willing to learn.
See, okay, sorry, Mo. Anna was telling me that they had to block the chat because it was all over the place. So we will now open the chat for a few minutes so that you can make your questions. If you use it badly, we'll have to close it down again. So you will not be able to ask questions to Mo. And I think you're losing a great opportunity to talk to a very successful entrepreneur that can inspire you to do your own business. So use the chat wisely, guys. Lo voy a decir también, I'm going to say it also in Spanish so that everyone gets it. Tuvimos que bloquear el chat porque estaba muy descontrolado. Entonces ahora vamos a volver a abrirlo para que puedan hacer sus preguntas. Úsenlo sabiamente, no sean responsables con el chat y aprovechen para hacerle preguntas a Mo, que tiene una historia espectacular y que ojalá, la verdad, yo empecé a emprender tarde, a mis 35 años, y ojalá hubiera ganado un montón de tiempo antes como hizo Mo. Okay, so let's continue. You wrote a book.
Yes, I did. So it's the young entrepreneur guides to success, to a startup success. And it's basically just all of my life stories and all of the things that I've been through and all of my trials and tribulations that I pretty much put in a book so that anyone else who wants to start a company that's my age or even older, I wrote down 4 main points, which are pretty much my goals of business. B is to believe in yourself. O is the opportunity to give back. W is for work. And S is for support. And with those 4 things, you really can boost and start up any idea or any business that thought that you might have. That's pretty much how my brain functions in creating ideas and making them actually happen. So that's what my book was pretty much about. And I also did an audio book, which was pretty cool. It's no one else's voice but my voice. So you can hear me read the book, and it's pretty cool. So you guys should check it out.
Where can we buy it, Mo?
You can buy it on my website, and I think you can buy it on Barnes & Noble's website as well. But my website is mosbowsmemphis.com, and it should be there.
And Amazon, I'm sure.
Yes, and Amazon.
Excellent. So we have a few questions from the kids in the audience, or the teens in the audience, not the kids. Mm-hmm. So this one is from Antonio Garcia. What motivated you to create your business?
I think the thing that motivated me most was the fact that my dad was always stylish. You know, he was always in three-piece suits and going to McDonald's with a vest and a tie. So I was just always around fashion. Whenever I looked up, I saw my dad, always dressing up and in something really nice. So that was pretty much second nature to me. So growing up, that's pretty much what I wanted to do as well. So I guess after being so frivolous in fashion, wasting so much on my clothes, being a kid, wasting chocolate, wasting honey mustard, everything you can think of on my nice, expensive clothes. My mom was like, I'm not going to keep paying for these expensive clothes. And then you don't even like the colors of them. So I was just like, why don't I ask my grandmother, who's been sewing for over 50 years, to teach me how to sew? And after that, it really didn't even start as me wanting to create a company. It started more as me wanting to look good and feel good in my own clothing, which turned into, oh, hey, I see that bow tie. I really like it. Where did you get it from? Oh, I made it. I can make you one too. And then that's how it kind of started. So that was pretty much the basis and how it all started. But never would I expect to be here. So I just want to tell everyone who's thinking about starting a company, start. It's no rush at all. But the quicker you start, I feel like the quicker the journey is going to start for you. And it's going to be a wild one, I tell you, but it's going to be pretty fun.
Excellent. And I think that your answer already covered the question from Paul Cisneros about when did your passion become a business opportunity. You've already answered that. We have a question from Rafaela Carrasco that wants to know, what is the best thing for you about your business?
The best thing for me about my company, well, I've realized, because I have different friends. I have different friends that work for different people. I have different friends that are in school right now, and I have my company. So I really can see different things from different perspectives, and I can say for me, I'm not on a, I guess, time limit to do certain things. Well, I guess I am. Everyone certain kind of is. But for me, I guess, like I said before, I can set my own schedule, and I could really be the boss of my mom sometimes. Like, I really love that. That I can tell her what to do and, boss her around. But other than that, it's just really great that I get to have something in my family and that I get to carry on my family's name and my family's legacy.
That's nice. That's very, very nice. Andres Sanchez wants to know, how did you get financing to start your business?
Well, at first, my grandmother, like I said, she's been sewing for over 50 years. So she had lots and lots of fabric, piles high. And what I do, I make bow ties in different prints and different things like that. So she had things that were vintage, and it was crazy. She had a whole room dedicated to fabric. So it was pretty much easy for me to start up. And in my book, I really go in depth about it, but you don't need much at all. And what I did was basically I got my grandmother's help. She taught me how to sew, and I began going to different farmers markets in my local in my city. And what they would do is different customers that I have now that still come and shop with me, they would come and meet me face to face, and I would give them my products. And, it would just be a great moment where we could, meet up. But I guess since COVID is going on now, it's kind of difficult to do that. But that's pretty much how I got started. And from there, different newspapers and different magazine photographers and writers would come to those events that I was popping up at, and they would take my picture and they would say, oh, I really like this little cute kid, so I'm going to post him on, the newspaper, or, that type of thing. So that's pretty much how I got started. So it really wasn't like I was actually spending money for advertisement or spending money for that much product. I really saw my resources and saw what was around me, and I tried to use it and put it in the best potential that I could use it in the best way that I could.
Excellent. Menayawa Nanywa Hanum, that's her name or his name. Has it been hard achieving all you've made in the last 10 years?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's been hard, but I definitely say it's been a struggle. And I wouldn't even say in the business, just with outside of the business, growing up as a human in the business. I feel like that's really the main struggle when you think about it. And I found out that it's really not what happens to you, it's how you deal with what happens to you. That's what that way of thinking has really helped me a lot in the past. And just going to therapy really helps. I feel like that's really more like the spiritual and emotional aspect is really more important in a company, because you're the one that's running it, so you have to be at your best at all times. You have to be healthy, you have to be growing at the right speed, you have to be loving and caring because you're taking care of a baby at the same time. So it's a lot. Just, I guess, how I went through it specifically, it's just growing organically, trying to be organic and stay grounded for the most part. That's pretty much all that I could say. Because I'm still going through it now. So it's kind of, we're all going through it. So just staying true to myself. That's really what I've been trying to do all this time. Just staying true to myself and staying true to my company so that I could get a lasting result.
Okay, and this is linked to my previous last question. This is from Stefano Viteri. How do you keep yourself motivated despite the obstacles you've encountered on the way?
Well, I get this question a lot, and I think I keep myself, well, I definitely know I keep myself motivated by focusing on the end goal, focusing on the end vision and what I see at the end. And that's just pretty much for me specifically. I see a clothing line, I see different people wearing my brand. And I see just different motivating and positive things. Thinking positive really helps keep me motivated. Staying true to myself, being grounded, hanging out with my friends really helps me stay uplifted and uplight. And yeah, I say really thinking positive and having a positive circle really helps.
Excellent, Mo. Thank you very much. Last questions because we need to finish with your involvement here, and we need to move on to the next international speaker. My question is about the future. You've done amazing things so far. Do you have any specific plans for the next few years that you can share with us?
Well, yes, I do have some specific plans for the next few years. Like I said, I did just open a shop locally. So that's another thing that I've been working on, and expanding that is something that I've been thinking about doing as well. But also that, of course, people know me for the bow ties and, the neckties. So I've been thinking about getting into more of the casual wear or the street wear type of vibe. So that's pretty much what I've been working on, in different sketching, and just getting my whole head wrapped around the business world. And of course, I'm going to still come out with different prints and different designs of bow ties, but we just started making the face masks, and they're doing pretty well. And I think people like that my face masks are very colorful and that they come to you with the pop of color, the same color that the bow ties come with. You can get your matching set. So that's something cool. So that's pretty much what I've just been working on, creating new prints. And I'm a fashion designer, so there's always different things coming up.
Excellent, Mo. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing your story with us. It's, as I said before, really inspiring. There are lots of questions in the chat. I just answered, or I just passed on a few of them. So thanks again. And well, look forward to seeing you, meeting you sometime, and of course, buying some of your creations.
Thank you. Thanks. And I'm so glad that I met you guys, and I'm so thankful that I could talk to you guys as well. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you very much, Mo. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bueno, espectacular la charla. Vamos a esperar que la gente que se fue